Welcome to That Was Abuse, where I talk about moments from my 10-year-long abusive marriage while getting ready for my life today. Most of these moments won't sound extreme, they're just the kind that make you question your sanity. Episode 21. One time I bought him the wrong Diet Coke. I was grocery shopping alone that week because he was busy with his court-mandated community service, but that's another story. When I got home, I realized I'd accidentally grabbed the 8-pack instead of the 6-pack. Still the same soda, just slightly smaller bottles. I figured it wouldn't be a big deal because I hadn't learned the rule yet, which was a minor mistake from me was a major deal to him. The next morning, he'd lined up the 8 bottles on the counter like evidence. Then he asked if I was purposefully trying to antagonize him, as if I had plotted in the middle of the grocery store to provoke a man with a known history of violence by buying 2 extra bottles of Diet Coke. Yeah, that's totally what happened. Not, thanks for getting the groceries this week. Not, don't worry, it's no big deal. But back then I accepted it. I truly believed that I was stupid for not realizing there were 2 extra bottles and inconsiderate that I hadn't already gone to the store to fix it for him. Abuse teaches you that your mistakes are unacceptable and your effort is never enough. And then it grinds you down until you truly believe you can't do anything right. At least not without his help. And it took me another 8 years to leave, but that was abuse. Episode 22. This is the wrong palette. Okay. Episode 22. One time he put me down for using a washcloth. I'd left it hanging in our bathroom after using it to wipe up some rose-colored bath bomb residue. He saw it, thought it was blood, and got pissed. But not because he thought I was injured. Nope. He was pissed because the cleaners who were there the day before might have seen it and might have also thought it was blood. He said it was ridiculous that I couldn't keep the house nice for even 1 week while he was gone. He said it was disgusting, which it wasn't. The house was spotless, but I did leave that washcloth out. That's how screwed up the priorities get in abuse. Protecting his image was more important than checking on my well-being. And for the first time, I thought that was weird. Because by the way, this was the same night he got home from his business trip, the one he was on when I started planning my escape. And although I knew it was going to take me months to leave, I was starting to see clearly that was abuse. Episode 23. One time he threatened me for offering to fix our lock. The day after he got home from his business trip, our front door lock broke. It was a smart lock, so he spent an hour on the phone to customer service trying to get it fixed, making himself angrier and angrier while I tiptoed around on eggshells. When he hung up, I let him rant and rave about the lock and about how nothing in this house ever works. Meanwhile, I'm silently counting down the minutes until his anger shifts from the lock to me. And that happened when I asked if I could call back customer service to give him a break. He said, "No, and do not ask again if you know what's good for you," with that look and certain tone in his voice that kind of made me want to poop my pants. Standing by the door, I had to admit to myself that that peace that I felt while he was gone was not an accident. It was a mark of just how bad things with him had gotten. That lock might be broken, but so was our marriage. Anyway, took me another 7 months to leave, but I was getting more comfortable saying to myself, that was abuse. Episode 24. One time I had a panic attack over soy sauce. I was making dinner and trying to stay out of his way while he continued fuming about the broken door lock. While on the phone to customer service, he shouted a particularly loud expletive and I jumped, spilling the soy sauce I was holding all over the counter. The reaction in my body was instant. My chest tightened, my hands shook, I felt like I couldn't breathe, and the only thought in my head was clean it up now before he sees. Because I knew where his mood was heading, and I knew to him that spill would have been enough. Enough to start yelling, enough to throw something, enough to explode. I got it cleaned up right before he walked in, but that moment was still enough to shatter the fragile confidence I'd built while he was gone. Because that's what long-term abuse does. It turns little, everyday accidents into life or death emergencies in your nervous system. And you can't even be mad at your nervous system for reacting that way because it has good reason. We pretty much ate dinner in silence, but we did avoid an explosion, so there's that. It still took me 7 months to leave, but that was abuse. One time I emptied his suitcase all over the parking lot. Not on purpose. I was trying to unload the car and I didn't realize it wasn't zipped. But his things went everywhere. Clothes, shoes, chargers, all over the pavement. I panicked. I dropped to my knees and started grabbing everything I could reach while saying, I'm so sorry, over and over again. I could already hear his anger, see the look on his face, feel the whoosh of air as he threw his things near, but not at me. I felt sick waiting for it to start. But that didn't happen, because he wasn't there. Instead, Aaron, my husband, came over and started helping me pick his things up off the ground. He said, "It's okay, I forgot to zip it." And he meant it. No anger, no fear. He actually asked if I was okay, because I couldn't stop shaking. And I couldn't stop shaking because I had 10 years of adrenaline coursing through my body with nowhere to go. Aaron and I had already been together a year at that point. But that was the moment I realized I could stop looking for proof he wasn't my ex. I had it, and I was safe. For the 25th episode of That Was Abuse, I wanted to highlight this moment. First, to say thank you to my husband, who is my biggest supporter in this work and who shows me every day what love actually feels like. Second, to remind you that healing doesn't mean never being triggered. It means believing that you can break those patterns. You can unlearn that fear, and you can feel safe in love, even if you've spent a decade saying that was abuse.